This is the CFM-1800. This is our flagship cartridge filler. This machine is comprised of the filling portion as well as the integrated capping system over here. So we actually offer this machine separated as well so that you can have standalone filling or standalone capping depending on what your process needs are. We went with a jig approach with this machine as the industry really has a lot of variability and what needs to be filled and what needs to be done. So what this allows us to do is take the packaging from the original manufacturer and fill directly from the foam. And one of the great things about actually using a jig is not just the filling portion of it, but capping is really going to be a bottleneck for you without a jig. So this allows us to create any solutions needed to guide the mouthpieces onto the device from the foam as well. So that way you can have a single operator filling and capping simultaneously. You'll usually work with 2 jigs, so while this is filling, I'm over here capping and prepping out my jig for the next fill. This machine utilizes a positive displacement valve, and one of the key differences in this valve technology compared to a lot of the other machines in the market is we don't use any check valves on here at all. So a check valve is usually comprised of just a spring and a ball, which is really going to gum up with any kind of oils, whether it's distillate, live resin, or rosin. Anytime those materials cool down, they're extremely sticky. So what we have here is a pneumatic spool valve. This is going to allow us to open and close the shuttle on here to have material come through our heated hose assembly and into our metering portion of this valve assembly. The other key feature is we don't have any manual knob adjustment. So this is all digitally controlled from a profile that we build, and that allows you to control the speed of the retraction and extension of that shot. So if the oil is a little bit more viscous, we're going to need to retract the metering rod a little slower. So now we don't have to have your operators trying to dial in every time they run a new production batch with small variabilities in the material itself. The machine's really going to just take care of all of that. The CFM-1800 has a touchscreen control, which is going to control anything from your tank pressure to your capping force, as well as every bit of your temperature zone. So we actually have 4 independent zones on here, one being your tank outlet, your heated hose assembly, and your valve. This model currently has our larger 6-liter tank, which is really aimed at the distillate market for bulk producers. We also have an option that you can swap this tank out for what we call the rosin tank. The rosin tank was designed to handle smaller production batches. It's still a 3-liter tank, but the goal is to have the tank's outlet be mounted higher than the valve's inlet. The reason we do that is we want to really minimize waste on higher dollar amount materials like rosin or live resin. So we put the tank on a slide so that you don't have to have your operators stepping on ladders or step stools risking dropping your oils. So you can actually lower the tank down, fill it up with your material, and then raise it back up so that outlet is above that valve inlet. Both this model, which is the CFM-1800, as well as our standalone filler, the CFS-1800, are both capable of filling disposables, cartridges, as well as infusing pre-rolls. It's really as simple as taking your jig off and putting your new jig on. The joint infusion jig works similar to everything else. You put your main jig on here, and then you actually have a tray. So the tray system is going to be made specifically for your joint size. So that way we don't get any wrinkling or crushing of the joints. We have a full support inside of here. So you simply load this tray up, slide it in, and the only other thing we have to do is we're going to change the needle on the valve. The joint infusion needle will be a closed tip that's been side ported. This machine is built from the ground up with industrial grade components. And to take things a step further, we've designed everything in a modular way. So if anything does happen to go bad, it's an easy swap out. All you're gonna do is remove your pigtailed connection. We'll next day air you a new part from our inventory crib. You put your new part on, just plug that part back in, and you're back up and running. Some of the stuff that we've seen in the market is honestly a little frightening to see. We've seen some videos of some competitors' machines where the press is actually open with people putting their hands inside or their head inside while actuating it. What we have here is a full safety rated press with a dedicated safety controller. What that means is we have a magnetically encoded gate switch that will not allow you to run this press unless it's closed, as well as an optical touch button for actuation. We also included an actual solid press shield in case something ever happens and you have a cartridge that breaks or shatters. You don't have any plastic or glass that's going to shoot out and act as shrapnel to your operators. We utilize a hydropneumatic system with our press. So what that means is inside of our cabinet, we have a 4-foot long booster cylinder. And since we're already providing this machine with just compressed shop air, we can actually amplify that air and still get 30,000 pounds of press force out of this cylinder here. Some of the big advantages of a hydropneumatic system is just the lack of maintenance and the consistency within the press. These presses are actually rated for 6 million cycles without the need of changing any hydraulic oil, filters, or motors. This machine is rated for 1,800 cartridges an hour, but beyond just saying that this is going to fill 1,800 cartridges an hour, we take it another step further. What we actually mean is it's going to fill and cap 1,800 cartridges an hour with a single operator and do it at proper temperatures. A lot of machines are quoted with numbers that are unrealistic, and the only way to achieve them is to actually overheat your oil and be producing cartridges in the 60 to 70 degrees Celsius realm. Our numbers are quoted at 50 degrees Celsius to ensure your oil's quality is always maintained from start to end of the process. Here at DDS, we pride ourselves on building industrial grade equipment that's not only going to be the fastest equipment on the market, but also the most efficient and accurate equipment. Future-proof your production line with the CFM-1800.